Welcome back to the channel Valuable Coins HD. If you've ever wondered about the hidden gems in the world of coin collecting, today's video is going to be one you don't want to miss. We're diving into a classic piece of American history, the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, this may seem like just another old penny, but believe me, this coin is much more than meets the eye. By the end of this video, you'll see why it could be worth a lot more than you might think. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, became one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. Over the years, this coin has seen several design changes, but the wheat penny, with its two stalks of wheat on the reverse side, remained in circulation until 1958. These wheat stalks were meant to symbolize America's agricultural roots, and for decades, they stood as a testament to the country's growing economy. The 1957 Lincoln wheat penny was part of the final year of the wheat design. In 1959, the coin would be redesigned to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, which remains the current design today. So, the 1957 wheat penny is part of a significant shift in U.S. coinage history, a transition from one of the most beloved coin designs to a new era of American currency. Now, you might be wondering, why is the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny so special? After all, it's a coin that was produced in relatively large quantities. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these coins that year, so they were widely circulated. But here's the catch: while most of the 1957 wheat pennies are in average condition, a select few of them were kept in excellent, uncirculated condition, and that's where the real value lies. As with most coins, the value of the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny depends largely on its condition. Coins that have been well preserved, those that show minimal wear, scratches, or discoloration, are far more valuable than those that have been worn down from years of circulation. A well-maintained penny, especially one that's been preserved in a safe place away from the wear and tear of daily transactions, can be a treasure trove for collectors. Now, let's talk about grades. In coin collecting, a coin's grade is crucial to determining its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin, one that has no signs of wear or damage and is in pristine condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1957 Lincoln wheat penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been spent and is free from any significant wear or damage, is far rarer than a penny that has been circulating in pockets and change jars for decades. And those uncirculated examples can command far higher prices, but it doesn't stop there. What really sets certain 1957 wheat pennies apart are the minting errors. Minting errors happen when something goes wrong during the coin's production, leading to an imperfect, but unique, result. These errors can vary from small details like doubled dies, where the coin's design is stamped more than once, creating a blurry or doubled image, to more dramatic mistakes, like off-center strikes or missing letters. Error coins are some of the most coveted in the numismatic world. They're unique, rare, and highly sought after by collectors. If you happen to come across a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny with a minting error, you could be looking at a coin that could be worth significantly more than its face value. Minting errors often make the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, the big question: how much is a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny actually worth? The answer depends on a variety of factors, including the coin's condition, any potential minting errors, and the current demand for these coins in the collector market. While most 1957 wheat pennies are only worth their face value, just 1 cent, coins in mint condition or with rare minting errors can fetch far higher prices. In fact, if you manage to find a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny in uncirculated condition, or perhaps one with a significant minting error, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of American history. Some of these rare and well-preserved coins have been known to sell for as much as $45,000. That's right, $45,000. It's hard to believe that a coin originally worth just 1 cent could be worth such a hefty sum, but that's the magic of coin collecting. Of course, not every 1957 wheat penny will be worth $45,000. It all depends on the coin's condition, any minting errors it may have, and how much collectors are willing to pay. But with a little patience, some knowledge, and a keen eye for detail, you could very well stumble upon a rare find that could change your life. So, what should you look for when checking your coins for value? Start by inspecting the coin's condition. Does it show signs of wear, like scratches or fading? If so, it may not be worth much. But if it looks almost brand new, you could have a hidden treasure on your hands. Next, check for any minting errors. These can be hard to spot, so take your time and examine the coin closely. If you find something unusual, like a double die or an off-center strike, you may have found a rare and valuable coin. Coin collecting is an exciting hobby, and sometimes, the most valuable coins are the ones you least expect to find. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny is a perfect example of how a coin that was once considered ordinary can become a prized possession when it's in the right condition or has the right minting errors. If you've got a collection of old coins or you've come across a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny in your spare change, take a moment to inspect it. It could be worth far more than you ever imagined. And if you find something truly exceptional, it might just be worth a trip to a professional coin grader to get an expert opinion on its value. Today we're diving into a true piece of American history, the iconic 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny. This seemingly ordinary coin, one that you might find mixed in with your spare change, has been gaining a lot of attention in the world of collectors. It may not look like much at first glance, but trust me, this little penny could be worth far more than you'd ever expect. Now, before we jump into the value and all the details, let's take a step back and appreciate the history behind this coin. The Lincoln Wheat penny, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, has become a staple of American currency. The design features a portrait of President Lincoln on the obverse, with two stalks of wheat framing the reverse, symbolizing the nation's agriculture. Over the years, this coin has undergone several changes, but the 1949 version stands out for a few specific reasons. During 1949, the United States was recovering from the aftermath of World War II. The economy was in transition, and there was a significant shift in the production of coins, with many of them being minted in large quantities to support post-war demand. But here's where things get interesting. Despite the high production rate, some of these 1949 Lincoln Wheat pennies were minted with specific characteristics that have made them valuable to collectors today. For starters, let's talk about rarity. While the 1949 penny wasn't particularly rare when it was first released, some specific variants, such as the 1949 D, minted in Denver, and the 1949 S, minted in San Francisco, have become increasingly sought after. The difference in the minting locations can dramatically impact the value of these pennies, especially when the coin is in pristine condition, but it's not just about the mint mark. Like many coins, the condition of the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny plays a huge role in determining its value. Most of the coins you'll find from this era have been heavily circulated. They've been through countless transactions, changed hands, and endured years of wear and tear. Coins with visible scratches, discoloration, or damage are generally worth only a fraction of their original value. However, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1949 penny that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition, you've got yourself something truly special. What makes the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny even more exciting to collectors is the potential for rare varieties and errors. A small percentage of these pennies were struck with minor flaws during the minting process, leading to unique error coins. These can range from double dies to misaligned strikes or even coins with slight design variations. Error coins like these are always in high demand and can fetch a significantly higher price than regular issue coins. So, if you happen to spot an anomaly on your 1949 penny, it's definitely worth investigating further. You could have a rare find on your hands. Let's take a closer look at how collectors determine the worth of a 1949 penny. The first thing they check is the condition, or grade, of the coin. There's a specific grading scale for coins, ranging from good to mint state and beyond. A coin in good condition will show heavy signs of wear and will be worth significantly less than a coin in mint state, which is essentially a coin that has never been in circulation and retains its original shine and detail. In terms of value, the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is generally affordable for the average collector, with most in decent condition priced in the range of a few dollars. But once you start factoring in things like a high-grade coin or a rare error, the price starts to climb. A penny in excellent, uncirculated condition, or one that features a rare minting error, could easily be worth a few $100s, but here's where the story gets even more interesting. If you happen to come across a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny with all the right factors, a rare mint mark, an error in the design, and a grade of MS 65 or higher, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. It's not unheard of for coins like this to be auctioned off for mind-blowing prices, and now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the price. If you find a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny in exceptional condition, particularly one with a rare error or from a coveted minting location, the potential value could be as much as $48,000. Yes, you read that right, $48,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that something as small as a penny could hold so much value, but that's the magic of coin collecting. A little bit of history, the right condition, and a bit of luck can turn a seemingly mundane coin into a treasure worth thousands. So, the next time you're sifting through a jar of old coins or browsing through change, take a second look. That Lincoln wheat penny from 1949 could be your ticket to a windfall. It's always worth checking your coins carefully, you never know what hidden gems you might discover. Today we're going to uncover one of the most fascinating treasures hidden in American currency, the 1954 Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark. You might think of pennies as small, insignificant coins, but let me tell you, this one could be worth far more than its face value. If you've got a 1954 D penny lying around, it might just be your ticket to something truly special. Now, before we dive into the value and potential worth of this coin, let's first take a look at its historical context and significance. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909, is one of the most beloved coins in American numismatic history. Featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 ears of wheat on the reverse, it was originally designed to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By the time we reached 1954, the coin had undergone several design changes, but the wheat penny's legacy remained strong. The 1954 D penny, like many others of its era, was minted during a period of post-war recovery in the United States. The economy was thriving, and the minting of coins had ramped up to support the nation's booming needs. The D mint mark on these pennies tells us they were struck in the Denver Mint, which, as you may know, is one of the primary coin-producing facilities in the U.S. While the 1954 D penny wasn't initially considered rare, it's what happened over the years that makes this coin so intriguing to collectors. Unlike many pennies that were circulated widely and worn down by use, some of these 1954 D pennies have survived in exceptional condition, making them highly sought after. As you probably know, condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. And when it comes to the 1954 D penny, those in top-tier, uncirculated condition can be worth much more than their face value. What makes the 1954 D penny even more interesting is its relatively limited production compared to other years of the Lincoln wheat series. While the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins, only a small fraction of them remained in mint condition. Over the decades, most of the 1954 D pennies were used in everyday transactions, tossed into vending machines, spent at the local store, and carried in the pockets of millions of Americans. This heavy circulation led to wear and tear, leaving many of these coins in less than ideal condition. But here's the exciting part: some 1954 D pennies were struck with such precision and care that they remained nearly perfect, preserving all their sharp details and beautiful design. These coins, known as MS 65 or higher in numismatic terms, are incredibly rare and much more valuable to collectors than you might think. Coins that retain their original luster and design details can fetch a premium price on the market. Now, let's talk about one of the most exciting aspects of this coin: the possibility of finding rare error varieties. Minting errors are a major attraction in the coin collecting world, and the 1954D penny is no exception. These errors can range from doubling in the design, where the image or text appears twice, to misaligned strikes, off-center punches, and even coins with unique characteristics that make them stand out from the rest. When these errors happen, the result is a coin that's one of a kind, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. So, how do you know if your 1954D penny might be worth a significant amount? The first thing you need to do is check its condition. A penny in good or fair condition won't fetch much more than its face value, but a coin that is in uncirculated or MS-65 condition could be worth hundreds of dollars. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Now, what about those rare minting errors? If your 1954D penny has a noticeable flaw or an unusual design characteristic, you could be holding something incredibly valuable. These error coins can be worth far more than a typical penny, sometimes even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity and severity of the mistake. So, here's the million-dollar question: how much could a 1954D Lincoln wheat penny be worth? Well, if you happen to have one of these rare, uncirculated, high-grade pennies, or even one with a unique minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like this, in pristine condition, have been known to fetch up to $58,000. Yes, you heard that right, $58,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something as simple as a penny could be worth so much, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. A small piece of history, a bit of luck, and a keen eye for detail can turn an everyday object into a valuable treasure. So, what should you do next? If you've got a jar of old coins or a box of pennies from years gone by, now's the time to go through them with a fine-tooth comb. Take a close look at your 1954D pennies. If it's in pristine condition, or if you think it might have an error, get it professionally graded. It could be worth a lot more than you think, and remember, whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, don't forget that the value of a coin is all about rarity, condition, and, of course, a bit of luck. Who knows? Your next discovery could be worth a small fortune. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might be sitting in your pocket or buried in your coin jar, but it could be worth far more than you think: the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with the D mint mark. This humble penny has a lot of history, and, believe it or not, it could be worth thousands of dollars if you have the right one in the right condition. Stick around as we dive deep into the story behind this fascinating coin and explore how much it could be worth in today's market. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is no ordinary penny. It's part of the iconic series of pennies first introduced back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln wheat penny became a staple of American currency, with its design featuring a portrait of President Lincoln on the front and two stalks of wheat on the back, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. But what sets the 1944 version apart, especially the one with the D mint mark, is its unique place in American history. To understand why the 1944D penny is so special, we need to take a step back and look at the time it was minted. The year 1944 was right in the middle of World War II, a period that had a profound effect on the U.S. economy and its coin production. During the war, copper was in short supply due to its use in ammunition and other wartime materials. As a result, the U.S. Mint made a decision to strike pennies from a different metal. In 1943, pennies were made out of steel, coated with zinc to give them a silvery appearance. But by 1944, the Mint returned to producing pennies from copper, making the 1944 penny one of the last to be struck in copper before the design change that came later in the 1950s. The 1944 Lincoln wheat penny is part of a series of pennies that were minted in massive quantities to meet the demands of the economy, with billions of them struck that year. The D mint mark on the 1944 penny indicates that it was minted in Denver, Colorado, and this particular version is highly prized by collectors. But just because it was mass-produced doesn't mean it's not valuable. In fact, it's the condition of the coin that can make all the difference when it comes to value. Most of the 1944D pennies you'll come across were circulated widely during and after the war. Over the years, these pennies were spent, worn down, and damaged in countless ways. A coin that has been through years of circulation will have visible signs of wear, including scratches, discoloration, and fading of the design. Coins in this condition are generally worth only a small premium over face value, if that. But the real prize comes when you find a 1944 penny in excellent or uncirculated condition. Now, what makes an uncirculated 1944 penny so valuable? It's all about rarity. While the 1944 penny was struck in large quantities, only a small percentage of them remained in pristine condition over the years. If you happen to find a 1944 penny that has been preserved in nearly perfect condition, meaning it has sharp, crisp details and shows little to no wear, it could be worth a small fortune. This is especially true if the coin has been professionally graded and assigned a high grade by a reputable grading service. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the possibility of finding rare variations or minting errors. With the 1944 penny, there are a few potential errors that collectors are on the lookout for. For example, some of these pennies were struck with double die errors, where the design was unintentionally doubled during the minting process. These types of errors can make a coin much more valuable because they are one-of-a-kind and extremely rare. Other errors might include off-center strikes or coins with misaligned designs. So, if you've got a 1944 penny that looks a bit unusual, it's definitely worth a closer inspection to see if you have a rare minting error on your hands. So, how much is a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny worth? Well, if your coin is in average circulated condition, it might only be worth a couple of dollars. But once you start talking about coins in high-grade, uncirculated condition, the price can go up significantly. In fact, a 1944 penny in perfect, uncirculated condition has been known to fetch anywhere from several hundred to several $1,000s at auction. But here's where it gets even more interesting. If your 1944 penny has a rare minting error or some other unique feature, it could be worth a staggering amount of money. Now, are you ready for the big reveal? If you have an uncirculated, high-grade 1944 Lincoln wheat penny, especially one with a minting error or unique characteristic, it could be worth as much as $60,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $60,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, isn't it? But that's the magic of coin collecting. A small piece of American history, in the right condition or with a rare flaw, can fetch incredible amounts of money. So, if you've got a 1944 penny lying around in your collection or buried in a jar of loose change, take a moment to check its condition. If it's in pristine shape or has a minting error, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Before you go, remember that the value of a coin is all about its rarity, condition, and any unique features it may have. So, be sure to check out your coins, do your research, and who knows, you might just find yourself holding a coin worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies that the United States Mint ever produced, the 1945 Lincoln wheat penny with the D Mint mark. You might be thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, think again. This little coin could be worth a lot more than you might expect, especially if you've got a rare, high-quality example. Stick around as we uncover the history, rarity, and value of this iconic coin, and we'll reveal just how much it could be worth in today's market. The 1945 Lincoln wheat penny is a true piece of American history. It was minted at the end of World War II, a time when the U.S. was undergoing tremendous changes. The country had just emerged victorious from the war, and the economy was transitioning from a wartime to a peacetime footing. This period marked the final years of the Lincoln wheat penny series, which began in 1909. The design, featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, had become a beloved symbol of American history, representing both the nation's agricultural strength and its reverence for the 16th president. In 1945, the mint produced millions of these pennies to meet the needs of the growing post-war economy. However, despite the large number of coins minted, the 1945 penny remains highly sought after by collectors. The D Mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary facilities responsible for producing coins in the United States. While most of the 1945 D pennies were circulated and are relatively easy to find in less than perfect condition, it's the high-quality, uncirculated versions that make this coin so intriguing and valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1945 D Lincoln wheat penny so special. The key factor here is the condition of the coin. The vast majority of the pennies minted that year were used in everyday transactions and have been worn down over time. Coins with visible wear, scratches, and faded details are generally only worth their face value or a small premium above it. But if you happen to have a 1945 D penny that has been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could have a valuable treasure on your hands. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in commerce. They retain their original luster, sharp details, and flawless design, making them highly coveted by serious collectors. These coins are graded based on their condition, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. For example, a 1945 D penny graded as MS 65 or higher, mint state 65, can be worth hundreds of dollars, depending on its quality. But the real jackpot comes when you discover a 1945 D penny in exceptional, near-perfect condition, especially if it has been graded MS 67 or higher. But what about the rare and unique varieties of the 1945 D penny? One of the most exciting things about coin collecting is the possibility of finding error coins, those that were mistakenly produced during the minting process. With the 1945 D penny, there are a few different errors that collectors keep an eye out for. For example, some 1945 D pennies were struck with a double die, meaning the design appears more than once, creating a unique effect. These types of errors are incredibly rare and are highly sought after in the numismatic community. If you come across a 1945 D penny with a double die, it could significantly increase its value, making it worth far more than a standard coin. Other errors that might occur during the minting process could include off-center strikes, misaligned designs, or even coins that were struck with the wrong type of die. If you happen to spot any of these anomalies, don't just brush it off. It could be the key to unlocking a hidden treasure. So, how much could a 1945 D Lincoln wheat penny be worth? Well, if you've got a coin in average circulated condition, you're probably looking at a value of just a few cents to a couple of dollars. But that's where the magic happens. When you find a coin in uncirculated, high-grade condition, the value starts to climb rapidly. A 1945 D penny in pristine, mint condition could be worth anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand, depending on its grade and any potential minting errors it might have. Now, hold on tight because here comes the jaw-dropping part. If you happen to have one of these rare, high-grade 1945 D pennies, especially one with a unique minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. The potential value of a 1945 D Lincoln wheat penny in exceptional condition, or one with a rare error, can reach an incredible $61,000. Yes, you heard that right, $61,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but that's the power of rare coin collecting. What seems like an ordinary penny could be worth a small fortune if you have the right one in your collection. So, what should you do next if you think you have a valuable 1945 D penny on your hands? First, take a close look at its condition. If the coin is in great shape, consider having it professionally graded by a reputable grading service. This will give you a better idea of its true value in the collector's market. If you notice any unusual features or minting errors, be sure to get those checked out as well. A professional evaluation can help you determine if your penny is worth significantly more than face value. And here's a pro tip: always keep your coins in safe storage to protect them from further wear and tear. Using acid-free holders and keeping them in a controlled environment can help maintain their value over time. So, next time you're going through your old pennies or sifting through change, take a moment to check for that 1945 D Lincoln wheat penny. You never know, it might just be your lucky day. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1945 D Lincoln wheat penny and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Keep hunting for treasures, and as always, happy collecting.